Hi people, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're coming across my channel for the very first time, thank you so much. Please consider subscribing. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support and I hope we are all fine. Today's conversation is about this video I want you guys to watch.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. By making it to this moment through all the adversity thrown your way from COVID, I hope you learned the important lessons that suffering in this life is only temporary. As a group, you witnessed firsthand how bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society. While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people, it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We fear speaking truth because now, unfortunately, truth is in the minority. Congress just passed a bill where stating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. I am certain the reporters at the AP could not have imagined that their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify Him.
I feel he ruined hundreds of women's graduation for his own platform opportunity. He ruined those college graduates, men and women. He used this opportunity to share his personal political views, ignoring the achievement of the people sitting there on what was supposed to be a special day for them. I wonder who wrote the speech, or did he read through the speech before presenting? Anyway, guys, a lot of people reacted, so I'll just read the teacher's row. At the end of it, I'll read my own comment, so please stick around.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you.
I think Harrison Butker's mother might disagree with his speech, and I'll tell you why. And if you haven't heard this is a commencement speech by Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. And in this speech, he talks about these diabolical lies that are told to women, and how women graduating might be thinking of the degrees that they'll get or the jobs that they'll have after graduating college, but what they're really probably thinking of is getting married and having children. And he talks about these diabolical lies, including IVF, that are told, and talks about basically the downfall of society. Now, I think this speech is really important for leaders to hear, because there are leaders that get up and talk about their very personal beliefs and they espouse it. And when you have a big microphone, people are going to be listening. But I think it's important to see that people have these kind of viewpoints and that it's said out loud so other people can come and say, what are you talking about? Because when people are graduating college, that's a moment that they want to be excited. And by being a leader that comes and basically tries to squash on roughly, let's say, 50% of those audience getting their degrees, you have taken that moment and selfishly captured it. Now, why did I say that Harrison Butker's mother might disagree with this? Well, she actually went to Smith College, which is a college for women that's known to create some of the best leaders and innovators in our society, including his mother, who is a physicist at Emory University, where she works in the oncology unit. And so I'm super curious what things like that his mother might think, but that other women sitting in the audience, or anyone sitting in that audience getting their degree, know that that moment is a huge celebration for you. And someone tried to take it away, but listen to all of those that are saying, like, this message is so absolutely batshit that it's important to know that what you're doing is important. And there is no qualification that means that you have to sacrifice those things that you're excited about in your career just because an NFL kicker told you so.
If she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no.
He honestly should have stopped at, congratulations, this is a huge accomplishment. He has the audacity to say, congratulations on all the hard work. You're on the way to the kitchen, right? The women of Benedictine College who were sitting in the audience worked so hard just to have their hard work and accomplishments diminished as a stepping stone to becoming a homemaker. I think it goes without saying, if women want to become homemakers, that is their choice, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the audacity of this speech. Most of his speech was a self-serving judgment on people who he just doesn't think are Catholic enough, and how people's purpose here on earth is to make it to heaven. And it's so ironic to me that this man thinks that he was given a platform and money and fame so that he could Bible thump, when there's actually a Bible verse where Jesus says, "It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to inherit the kingdom of God." As a man who makes nearly $4 million a year, I hope he's tithing most of that away so he can get into heaven. Maybe he should be worried more about that rather than if women are going to stay at home.
We all saw the speech. Sweet little baby wanted some attention and we gave it to him. But I think it's time we move on from that and address the facts. Now, my voice as a man is not necessary here. Men, we don't need to speak on behalf of or for women. But as a man with a wife and hopefully one day a future daughter, I want to put a differing male perspective out there as something that I would say to them. Here are the basic facts. Women have overtaken men and now account for over half of the college-educated workforce in the United States. More single women own homes than single males, and women are dominating higher education in a faster rate than they ever have before. I know when I was in law school, I was like 75% women. I was surrounded by women. The truth of the matter is this. Men like this feel like they're losing their grip. They feel like women are pulling ahead of them, and they are throwing a little temper tantrum about it. But do not, for 1 second, let them gaslight you into thinking that you are not doing what you're doing. To quote Taylor Swift, 14-time Grammy Award-winning billionaire, old habits die screaming.
By now, we've all seen this video, and I just want to say, as a woman and as a surgeon in training, my life did not start the day I met my husband. My life started the day I was born. And to listen to a man try to tell women, especially on the biggest day of their lives, their biggest accomplishment, to hear him belittle and try to diminish women to their reproductive organ is just so ridiculous. I've spent the majority of my days saving patients' lives and taking care of patients, and none of that has anything to do with being married or having kids. I actually don't have any children yet, and so by his definition, my life means nothing, even though I'm out here working endlessly to take care of patients. That's just ridiculous. I want to tell these girls, these ladies, listen, don't listen to anything that he just said. Your life, your degree, all of which you've worked for, your accomplishments, they all mean something. We're all proud of you. It's ridiculous how men can try to diminish women by a reproductive organ, but in the same breath, try to control those reproductive organs. Make it make sense.
But I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the
Just like, is it impossible for some people to not involve themselves in the lives and decisions of others? Like, your wife made her decision, she loves you, you love her, it's wonderful. The women you're talking to are not your wife. Like, is minding your own business impossible? I didn't think it was that hard. It's just weird. Let me tell you what you're excited about. Let me tell you what's actually going to fulfill you. Because I know. It's weird.
When it comes to Harrison Butker's commencement speech, specifically the portion that was directed to the women in the audience, I'm the stereotype that he's speaking to. Like, I'm the target audience for that. And even I can tell you, it missed the mark by miles. I graduated top of my class from a private Christian university, magna cum laude, and I was a Division I student athlete. Less than a year and a half after graduating, I married my husband. Less than 2 years after graduating, I had my first child. We are still married, and we are a family of 5. I'm the one that he's talking about. We can nitpick all of the things that he said all day long. And if you're a Christian or a conservative, there's certainly parts of that speech that you may have even agreed with. But the baseline issue with the portion about women is that this man has no connection to the women that he's speaking to. He is making broad blanket statements and assumptions about a group of women who have worked for the last 4 years to achieve a goal. And he doesn't know them. He doesn't know their stories. He is not their partner. He is not their priest. He is not their brother. He is not their father. He is not their best friend. He is some rich dude who gets paid millions of dollars to play football, albeit very well, with immaculate eyebrows. If his goal was to inspire and relate to those women's aspiration, he didn't do it. It was the wrong place, the wrong time, and the wrong tone. If Harrison Butker would have given me that speech 10 years ago at my commencement when I was 21 years old, it would have done nothing other than enrage me. Even as the woman who is fulfilled in her role as a wife and mother 10 years later, who has achieved all of the things that he says women should aspire to achieve. I've done it, and I can tell you it was tone deaf.
Well, kindly share your thoughts in the comment section below. I would really love to hear from you as well. I'm sure a lot of women would like the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mother and wife, but they aren't married to a multi-millionaire, and work is a necessity due to corporate agreed. It's 2024, not 1996. Imagine if you spend thousands of dollars, countless hours to achieve a goal, only for someone to tell you that it was nothing because of their own narrative. What prompted him to give such a speech? Do you feel threatened by the women's achievement? I feel he meant that his wife wasn't of any value until he married him. There is nothing wrong being a homemaker. The problem is when men like him shame women for choosing to pursue career over being a homemaker. Women fought for the right to choose if they want to be homemaker or career women. Who tell men to choose between a family and a career? Why wasn't he addressing his fellow gender in his speech, telling them to be good readers,